Hey everybody, welcome back to the Reality Wind Down, a podcast where we break down all the latest Bravo TV drama and the biggest pop culture moments of the week, one glass of wine at a time. I'm Chase.
I'm Cassidy.
And I have finally recovered from my birthday.
I don't know if you have recovered.
I have not, but I'm acting like I have. I am in a delirious mental state.
True.
I think you are in one as well.
Bit. Like, I'm definitely mentally not all here, but I am excited because
per usual,
we got the Salt Lake City finale, and I feel like it's like a full circle moment for us because we started this podcast week 1, Salt Lake.
That's true.
So I feel like we've grown and evolved as a podcast just as it grew and evolved as a show.
Yeah, but before we get into Housewives, I do want to kind of tell a little story dating back to a couple days ago.
Oh no. I have a feeling I know what the story is.
For my birthday, we did a little cute, small little dinner in my backyard, and the lovely Cassidy was one of the guests. And after, we had this beautiful piñata to play with, and Cassidy gets spun around. She's just really confident. She was like, I'm going next, I'm gonna win this, I'm good. So we have this thing, it's hanging from a wire in the backyard, and we have some cute string lights, making the setting really cute, magical, twinkling. Cassidy spinning around with a broom in her hand.
No, but give reference. I was spinning around, and then one of our friends said, I said, am I good? Do I swing right here? Because I knew there were many wires around, okay? Like, I wasn't trying to destroy the place. But my friend said, yes, you're good. Our friend Prue said, go for it. Great spot. So I swung naturally. And we'll definitely have to add the video to this clip if you're watching on YouTube. If not, we'll post it on our Instagram. But I basically hit a light and I tore down the entire backyard.
All the lights it goes black. It's dark. The light strings fall off. You hear glass shatter. Cassidy's standing there with a COVID mask over her face, her eyes.
I thought that, and everyone got so loud and went, I got so excited that I thought that I had knocked it down. I was like, oh my god, I was second up, hit one time, and got all the candy. Well, it was filled with alcohol, of course. Got all the alcohol out, and no, it just turns out I smashed up your house.
Everyone just sat there. It was just couldn't move.
I think we laughed for literally the next hour.
We did. I've watched it every day, and everyone I've come in contact with, I'm like, hey, here's the best video you'll ever see in your entire life. Enjoy. If you need me to airdrop it to you, let me know.
Chase posted on his Instagram and started tagging, because we were a little tipsy at this point. He starts tagging the Ellen Show. I think he tagged, the best tag was America's Got Talent. I don't know what the talent is there. I would understand if you were trying to get it on the news, a funny video, but America's Got Talent.
I thought I tagged America's Funniest Home Video.
I think you did that, but I swear you tagged America's Got Talent too.
I probably did. I was trying to get it to all the streaming services. I was getting her...
The streaming services, aka competition show.
Cassidy has her own Netflix show. It's just her hitting wires with a piñata.
Honestly, I've seen dumber shows, so I can see that maybe working. But yes, I'm sorry to your backyard. I'm sorry to your home. I would say I won't let it happen again, but I can see myself doing something even worse.
It's not the first thing Cassie's broken my house, and it's definitely not the last.
It's not going to be the last.
So happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to Chase. Other than that, spectacular dinner. We're still celebrating all week.
We are.
If you're watching on YouTube as well, we decided to take a little note from, there was no new episode of Dallas this week, but we decided to play the panty game, where everyone who came decorated a panty like they did for Brandy's birthday, and Chase had to guess who it was.
I didn't do too bad. I think I got
I literally
halfway.
Put Reality Wind Down on the pair I did, so it was pretty
obvious. The only way I knew.
Made it. But yeah, we got a couple up here that are really good, and
we got a little eggplant. We got a little portrait over there. Reality Wind Down.
It was super fun.
I have to say, it was a good birthday. It was a fun birthday.
Still celebrating.
We were blessed with nice weather. We were blessed with Cassidy hitting a wire. It was just great.
We were blessed to get power back after not having it all last week, and then I took it away immediately.
You're like, fuck that power. I liked it all.
I'm taking the power back. We're going to take it away. It's not happening.
It was so good. Do you want to get into, I think, the main hot take of the week?
Absolutely. Okay. we put this out into the universe. I know people have talked about it before, but we really put it on our Instagram last week whenever Bravo announced this whole winter house thing that they were doing. We posted a little meme like, yes, but give the people what we really want. Like, we're excited for that, but we really, really want an all-stars.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
We want an all-stars housewife little moment on an island, a beach, throw all these housewives from different cities together.
And it sounds like we're getting it.
We asked, we believed, and now we are receiving.
Like we were receiving that letter from the Mormon God.
Oh, God.
That we were out of the church.
That's exactly what we don't want. But yes, who would be your ideal dream cast?
I really like the idea of like all the OGs. You know, like Teresa, Nene, Vicky. I would even throw in like a Tamra. She's pretty much an OG at this point. Sonia. I would love a Portia. I know she's not an OG, but like that vibe where it's like they've been on a long time and they're like number one housewives on their franchise. Like we need all stars here.
This is what I want in life. That's
all stars.
At first we were talking about it and I was kind of like, it'd be fun to see, you know, like some of like the younger cast, like single, not even younger, just like the single girls going and like debauchery and making a mess and just having a good time. But I really like the idea more of the OGs.
Yeah. Because they are the reason we have these franchises. Yes. They're the reason that we have housewives. And they've always brought it. That's why they're the OGs. They've been on most of the times 12 years.
I mean, can you imagine the fight between Vicky and Ramona about who is the OG and started all of this? Like, it would be a la BravoCon all over again.
They would walk in, be fighting for bedrooms and fighting for number one status immediately.
Because I feel like Ramona, if you put her in there with like some of the like younger girls, she wouldn't even know who they were.
No, and
like,
she wouldn't care. She would just be like, I'm above y'all.
Exactly. And I want like the heavy hitters coming in and like it being a shit show.
Because that's true competition. Like when you're all OGs, you all think that you started it. So that's where the drama is going to lie.
Have you thought about what franchise we haven't even mentioned?
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, who would you want from Beverly Hills? Because there has to be a Beverly Hills girl.
None.
Ooh, but you have to.
Okay, they would literally just be in a corner, like, with a glam squad the entire time.
That is also very true.
Like, Beverly Hills came out with, you know, their, like, their looks and their first confessionals. And it's like, everyone's posting about it. Everyone's loving it. And I'm like, guys, this happens every year. They give us looks. But are we watching a fashion show? No. We're watching a housewife show about their lives and their drama. I don't give a shit.
Tell it to Brooks Marks.
I don't give a shit. Life is one big fashion show with one look.
Oh my God.
I know we're going to get another boring season. We always do. I don't give a shit if you look good or you look bad. Ramona half the time shows up like with her...
Remember her pizza?
A wreck. That's what I was thinking.
She had a pizza without any cheese on it. Sonia described it because she got like a weird dermabrasion thing done.
But that's what I'm thinking.
I agree.
Like...
I think it's hard to pick anyone from Beverly Hills. Like I was trying to go back like... OG, what if like single Adrienne Maloof, could she come on and be?
Okay.
We've never seen her like really single. Like she looked like she was having a fun time. I think she made an appearance a
honestly,
couple
give
seasons
me
ago.
Kim.
Give you Kim?
Kim.
I mean, I love Kim Richards. Anything to get her back on our screen.
She'll miss her plane. She'll never make it.
Oh, 100%.
And the whole drama would be her trying to get there.
On it. That's. I also would like to see if Sheree, I mean, which brings us to, I think, our second hot take for this week.
That's true.
Sheree's man, Tyrone, finally got out of prison, and they're giving things another go. But if that doesn't work out, I wouldn't mind seeing Sheree on the island.
I would like to see Sheree on the island. I would like to see Sheree either back on The Housewives, because I want to see this wedding, or I need to see her on Love After Lockdown.
Love After Lockup. Is it locked up or locked down?
Either way, there's a show.
Trying to lock it down. It's one of those two. Lock up, lock down, we don't know. But yes, anything to get Sheree back on our screen would be amazing.
We need that bone collector.
We need her back.
I think that's it for hot takes today.
Yeah, I think so. Should we jump into a game?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
I think it's going to be a really fun one. It's 2 truths and a lie. So we're each going to say 3 things about a housewife. 2 truths, 1 lie, and you have to guess which one's the lie.
Okay.
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 Should I start off?
Yeah.
Okay. Candy Burris.
Okay.
In addition to Don't Be Tardy for the Party, Candy co-wrote Pink's debut single, There You Go.
Okay.
Second, she joined season 3 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta as a replacement for Lisa Wu Hartwell. Okay.
Okay.
Number 3, she won season 3 of The Masked Singer as Night Angel.
I don't know any of these. I'm going to say the first one's a lie.
No, that's true. She actually joined in season 2, so the second one was a lie. She joined in season 2 to replace Deshaun Snow.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, well,
I can't believe you didn't know the Masked Singer. You weren't confident in that?
No, I knew that one. I knew she won the Masked
like
Singer,
3,
but I've never watched the Masked Singer, so I didn't know what season.
Yeah, me either.
But I knew she was on it, and I knew she won, and I was like, I also love that she won. I was like, Candy's going mainstream, more mainstream than she already is.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, you ready?
I am ready.
Vinky.
Not Vinky.
It's Vinky Gumbelson. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1. Grew up in Chicago.
True.
2. Has been married 3 times. The first time at age 17.
Okay.
Okay, 3. Is available for videos on Cameo for $125.
Oh my god.
Which is the lie.
I'm pretty sure she grew up in Chicago. I feel like the Cameo one is like specific because then it could be like, oh no, she's actually on there for $150 or something like that.
So are you saying that's the lie?
No, because then I'm not sure on the second one. I know she was married to Brianna and Michael's dad, and then she was married to Dawn. And has she married the new guy yet? Okay, I'm gonna say the second one's a lie.
Oh, you're right.
Was I right? Did I work it out right?
So she was actually married the first time at age 21.
Okay, but she was only married twice, right?
It says married 3 times.
Oh well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But the age was the lie.
The age was the lie. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you got it right.
All right, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Miss Kenya Moore.
Ooh, okay.
Number 1, she was the first Black Miss USA winner in 1993.
Okay.
Number 2, she had a brief role in Waiting to Exhale, which also featured Cynthia's first husband.
Okay.
Number 3, she appeared in music videos for Tupac and Nas.
Ooh. I think 3 is the lie.
Oh, no.
What?
Actually, this is kind of a tricky one. It was number 1. She was not the first Black Miss USA winner in 1993. She was the second. Carol Ann Marie Geist was the first 3 years prior.
Oh my god. I always thought she was just because...
Because she always says that, right?
I thought she did, but maybe we're just hearing her wrong.
Yeah.
I did not know that. But I also do love that she was in something with Cynthia's ex-husband.
I knew. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Talked about that.
Yeah, because didn't he come back and do her like weird pilot movie?
Oh, that's right, he did.
Yeah.
Because he's so hot, Leon.
He is really hot.
He's gorge. He did come back and he played a role in Life Twirls On, and Cynthia was also in Life Twirls On. Remember, she was the Jamaican hairstylist.
Yes, Cynthia's
chaos.
Not a
Sheer
born
chaos.
actress.
No. All right,
okay.
I'm ready.
You ready for your third?
Yes.
Bethany Frankel.
Wait, no, this is my second, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'm ready for my second.
It is your second.
Bethany Frankel. All right, the B.
Number 1, worked as a nanny to Paris Hilton.
Okay.
2, was the runner-up on The Apprentice, Martha Stewart, in Skating with the Stars.
Wait, she was runner-up on all those?
I guess.
Okay. Whew.
3, has a severe peanut allergy.
Number 3 is a lie. She has a severe fish allergy.
Yes.
Yes, I remember she had her head in the toilet in Colombia. I didn't know that Skating with the Stars, I thought it only had like 2 episodes and got canceled. I didn't realize that it went all the way to the end.
Me, remember Diving with the Stars?
That
Kim
was
Richards was on.
Iconic. I think one of the accounts, maybe it's Bravo Historian, anytime she does like a deep dive, or anytime someone does a deep dive, they always start off with that. And it's like them walking to the deep end and they do the most basic, horrible dive, and it always makes me laugh so hard.
It's so funny and so stupid.
So random but hilarious. You have one more left, but you can't win. You only have...
I can't, but I think we should do it anyway.
All right, let's do it. Lisa Vanderpump, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Number 1. She married her husband Ken after knowing each other for only 6 weeks.
Okay.
Number 2, she officiated Lance Bass's wedding in 2014.
Yes.
Number 3, she appeared on the 16th season of Full Circle, Dancing with the Stars. Eat your heart out, Tyra. I'm just kidding.
I know she was on Dancing with the Stars. I don't know what season it was, but so like now I'm confused. I feel like that might be a trick question.
Okay.
And the first one, I'm pretty sure she did marry Ken within the first 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say the last one's a lie.
The appeared on the 16th season of Dancing with the Stars. No, I'm sorry. It was number 2. She officiated a gay wedding in 2014, not Lance's. But Lance actually officiated Jack's and Brittany's wedding in 2019.
Okay, same shit. She married some gays. I win.
You said it.
She has a star on the Walk of Fame in Palm Springs, okay?
Oh, Palm Springs. I didn't even know there was one there.
You didn't know she did the whole episode where she like went and had like a star on the Palm Springs
I've
Walk of
probably
Fame.
seen it 5 times and it did not stick with me. Like,
Yeah,
you know me, I've seen it 5 times.
Yeah, like not the information that really, you know,
Not
I hold
the one
on
that,
to.
Yeah, not the one that sticks with me.
Okay, well, do you just want to go ahead and do your last one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I want to go undefeated here.
Jin Shaw.
Oh, this is going to be so hard.
1. Was born in Hawaii before moving at 3 years old to Salt Lake City.
Okay.
2. Does not own the Shaw Chalet. It's a rental. 3. Her zodiac sign is Libra.
Oh my god. Well, this is a reach. I don't know, and I've already won, so I'm just not even going to overthink it. I'm going to take a stab. They do not own the Shaw Chalet.
Wrong. It's 1. Truth is she was born in Salt Lake City, but her mother was born in Hawaii.
Oh, I thought she said she was born in Hawaii. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. I was wrong on that. I did not know that.
Well, you know what? You still won.
Yeah, I did.
And that's all that matters.
I did. I win!
She's a winner, baby.
But all right, should we... I think this week it's going to be like a little bit shorter because we're only talking about 2 franchises. Mainly Jersey, and then Salt Lake wrapped up. So I think maybe we should jump into New Jersey.
Yeah, I think we should start with Jersey. We start right at the end of the fight with Jackie and Tre.
What fight?
See you next Tuesday.
That's been like grained in my brain for the last week. Like all I can hear is Teresa screaming, "See you next Tuesday." But Jackie like is talking to Margaret because obviously Teresa has stormed out.
Yeah.
And Margaret runs in like, "What happened?" Like she said that you mentioned Gia. Did you mention Gia? And Jackie was like, "I did. It was an analogy. Like I used it as an analogy," which I understand that was her purpose, but I don't think it was clear to Teresa that it was an analogy because she never said, "What if I said this?"
Yeah. I do love the strategic editing of like, we don't leave that little tidbit that she says is an analogy until this episode. So
Right.
Jackie and Tre could both be dragged this entire week.
Right, like if you're not on social media, because Jackie tweeted about it afterwards, like it was an analogy, but if you're not on, you would have no idea.
Mm-mm.
Like my mom doesn't like follow, like she's
Yeah.
obsessed with Jersey, but she doesn't follow like Twitter or anything
Yeah,
like that.
so I just love the strategic edit that
Yeah.
we start immediately with
Exactly.
Jackie saying as an analogy.
That is a good point. But Margaret did make the point to say like kids are completely off limits, like in her interview, and she's talking about it.
And I agree with that. Like, I do think Jackie thought she did something there by doing that analogy. But I think, as you said last episode, you could use anyone else. You don't
Right.
have to use Gia.
Like, you could have literally said, like, I heard your brother, which would have hit even harder. I guess it would have addressed Melissa. And Melissa would have been all pissed off
Yeah.
in a whirlwind about it, too. Or just, you could have literally said anyone else. You could have said you. I heard you do coke
Yeah.
in the bathroom. Like, in the
It's-
bathroom. Lisa Rinna, I'm referencing again. But yeah, I also found it very interesting because then Teresa gets home and she calls Melissa and she's, like, telling her what just happened and she's enraged. And Melissa's like, well, I'm actually at the shore because it's Antonia's birthday. I was like, did she forget that it was her niece's
yeah, like,
birthday?
Tree's like, oh, what? You're there?
Yeah, and then just kept talking about what she had just gone
Of
through.
course.
But I also got sad because I always wanted Antonia and Melania to be best friends. And I guess Melania wasn't at Antonia's birthday.
I mean, she may have been there and Tree just didn't
She
know.
had no idea. That's true. We didn't see the girls. She could have very well been there.
But so it goes back to Jackie and, like, Margaret talking. And Margaret's kind of like, oh, well, we're going on our trip tomorrow. So, like, what are you going to do? And Jackie is like, oh, I'm never going to be in the same room as Teresa again, blah, blah. And me and Cassie just look at each other and we're like, girl,
Good
you're
luck
on
with
the
that.
same reality TV show. This is episode 2. Why are we even acting like that's, like, even a possibility?
Is Jackie going to attempt to do the whole, like, if she's going to be there, I'm not going, which we know she does with this trip, but is she going to try to do that for the rest of the season?
It's going to be annoying if she does.
With dinners, with, like, anything. Like, how is she going to...
I mean, you saw what we got out of her this week. It was her children's haircut time.
That was a moment. It was, she was like, I've gotten so passionate about cutting hair. And we thought, like, oh, she's really taking this up as a hobby. And she's just like, buzz, buzz, buzz. Every
All
kid.
of them. She's like, line up. We're buzzing your hair off.
Yeah, it's like the little girl was like, oh, God, am I next? She was like, no, Mom, I'm good.
But I just love that was like what we got from it. She's like, I just love family time, and it's her just buzzing, and that's it. That's all we see of Jackie.
That is completely it. But I also found it interesting that like we got a little Jennifer moment again, referencing back to her parents. talking about, like, this time we got her mom's side of it. But I just didn't like they were talking about all of this in front of her daughter.
I know, it's awkward.
Like, talking bad about the grandpa.
I just feel like they didn't even, like, think about it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, like, sometimes you just, like, talk and whatever. But it was wild because it was, like you said, getting the side of the grandma and how she's like, you don't know what your dad's like when you're not around.
Right.
He's turning y'all against me. So on and so forth. I'm just like, this is a lot.
Well, I think Jennifer even said, it was an arranged marriage, and, like, I never saw my dad do anything wrong, but I also never saw him being affectionate. So maybe it's just, like, 50 years of, like, built up.
I think it just ran its course.
I
think they both were resentful because they just liked each other, but maybe didn't love each other.
Right.
And I think it's the right thing just to separate.
Yeah, like, I don't know if it's worth going through, like, a whole divorce, but, like, just staying apart.
Yeah.
The dad living with her and the mom living on her own.
And honestly, from the dinner of last episode, I didn't get that the kids were against her. I think the kids were just saying, like, this is better that y'all are apart.
Right.
But all the kids were like, no, I think we're...
They did say, like, along the lines of, like, I don't think that she's been treating you very nicely. Like, I don't like to see you being... Not abused, because that's a really big word, but seeing you, like, being hurt and upset all the time to the dad.
Well, I mean, the mom hasn't been shown the best light over the past couple seasons, so it's hard to say that that's not true.
Right.
Because the mom has been, like, pretty wild, especially towards their gay son, not accepting that he's gay, or actually just not even allowing it to be a thing. So, I don't know, the mom seems pretty, like, set in her ways, which is, to each their own, but... I can see their point.
Right.
And I think they were still going and hanging out with her because they were all like, we went to mom's house and picked up food.
Yeah, they're hanging out with both of them.
I don't know. I think it's just better. Move on.
Speaking of moms, we got a little glimpse of Dolores' mom. We just love her.
Queen Icon. I love her.
What is her name?
I don't know. Dolores' mom.
Her name is Queen Icon. That's what we're calling her.
Her name is Dolores' amazing mom.
She is, like... so sweet, so cute. She was sad because she's, like, always looked after her 15 grandchildren, and now with COVID they haven't been able to come over. My heart was breaking. I was like, I want to do a drive-by and visit Queen Icon.
I know. I just want to wave at her.
I was so sad for her, but she did give really good advice to Dolores talking about David.
Yeah, she did, but we also find out that she too is married but doesn't live with her husband.
Oh yeah, that was strange. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, but they, like, haven't lived together since, like, the late 90s, I think. Like, he got a job as
she didn't want to move, so...
they just live separately and have... Like, it's just the fact that Dolores said they do everything a normal married couple does. They just don't live together. I'm like, does he come over and, like, eat and, like, have a quickie and then go home? Like, I don't... Like, how does that work? Are they still hanging out? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I would like to know, but we also see the parallels in Dolores' relationship with David.
I mean... David doesn't know what he has with Dolores. Like, she's successful. She's stunning. Like, I think she has a really good personality.
Oh my god, she's great.
And
I feel like she's
settling.
Loyal.
Yes. Oh, well, I think she's loyal would be the first word to describe her. 100%.
Yeah.
But I think she's kind of got to the point where she's, like, settling with David. I feel like David doesn't realize how good he has it with Dolores. Like, I know he's, like, a successful doctor, but that's kind of his whole identity. Like, she's like, I want to be there for you. Like, I want to be the homemaker. Like, I built this house for you. Like, I want to be the one that lives it with you. But he's just not giving her, I think, the attention and the affection that she deserves.
Yeah, and I think you said it best to me. It was like, you think she's settling.
100%. I think she's settling.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so weird. It's like, I feel like it's easy to settle when she has the best friend in Big Ham Linky.
Yeah.
The boyfriend in David. And she's getting different support from each person.
Right.
So it's like, why settle with one? I don't think she's hooking up with Big Ham Linky, but she's getting emotional support from Big Ham Linky.
They might be having threesomes because we also found out in this episode that after Frank fell down the stairs at a construction site, he lived with David. So literally everyone has lived with David at this point except Dolores. Like, Big Ham Linky, Lil Ham Linky, both lived with him. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out next week that Queen Icon lived with. Like, it would not surprise me at this point.
I mean, it was to the point where David and Dolores were giving Big Ham Linky sponge baths.
I mean, can you not, like, I could see them being, like, a throuple relationship. Like, I don't know. I'm here for it. I'd watch a show about it.
I am very open.
Yeah.
don't know why I had to like proclaim that.
Very passionate here.
I know, but I would actually love to see that.
That's what I saw.
I think it would really be amazing.
Something along the lines of, like the lady who took a sip of like the drink and it's like, well, you know what I'm talking about, like that like viral thing. Like it's her taking the sip. And it says Dolores and David's relationship, like in kind of the, and then it said Frank and David's relationship, like, well, like I'd be kind of here to watch that.
That's so true because we also see them go to like a gun range and having like
with
boy
a
talk.
VIP lounge, by the way. What the hell was that?
Lounge. That was a fancy gun range.
I know.
But they go to this gun range and then they have a talk after, and Big Ham Linky is telling David like, hey, you're not treating Dolores right. You're really taking advantage of her.
Straight up, like, point blank, he said to her, you are a shit boyfriend. You're a great doctor. You're a shit boyfriend. And she deserves more. Yeah. And she wants more.
And it's, okay, so it's so funny because I actually wrote down, I was like, Frank is literally a housewife at this point, and I'm laughing because we've talked so much about Frank and like how he's like acting. So I'm like, we need to get back to the housewife.
Sorry, we spent a long time on, as y'all know, we have a passion for Ham Linky.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Is like, if we don't stop talking about Ham Linky, we'll never stop. So I'm like, let's get back to the girls.
Okay, back to the girls. We'll just say that Jackie is having a conversation with someone. Is it with Evan or? Oh no, she thinks she's talking to her daughter, and she's like, like some girls will hurt you in life. Like my intention is never to hurt people, which I do not believe. Like, I mean, they were trying to hurt each other at that point. Like, just own it. But it is time for the girls' trip.
It is.
And Margaret's house is chaotic as shit.
I mean, always. The girls are coming in. Margaret's dog is like barking around. I relate to it.
King.
My dogs be wild. And Margaret comes up with these goblet wine glasses filled with iced coffee as she's stepping over her dog's pee in the foyer. I'm like, what is going on? But very on brand for Margaret, I would say.
Madness. Absolutely. In a construction zone that she's lived in for years.
I was like, ever since she got on the show, she's been in construction on her house. And I love because the girls come and she's like, guys, just don't mind the construction. It's like, I would be shocked if I walked in your house and it wasn't a construction
finished and like totally spotless. Yeah. I also would be very surprised. But it's time for the girls' trip, actually, and we find out Jackie's not coming.
Yes.
Which I was kind of surprised by. Like, I know she said she wasn't going to go, but I thought, like, okay, she's going to show up.
Yeah, and I always think this way. I'm like, wouldn't you think contractually she would have to go?
I would have thought so.
Yeah. Which is, like, maybe if she just skips this one out, I bet they'll have, like, another one, because it's, like...
COVID.
I have, like, COVID, so they're kind of doing quick trips everywhere. I know they go to the shore house eventually. So maybe this one they allow her to skip out on, just because it was so fresh, and, like, that was a good, heated conversation to start the season. So, like, we get a pass. But I was still surprised.
No, I don't know. I still feel like either way she should have to go. Like,
I think
it's the first trip. Like, we've waited a long time for a new season. Like, you finally get all back together. Right when, like, the drama is juicy and steaming. That's when she should have to go.
I mean, she was busy cutting her children's
hair.
Buzzing
her children's hair.
She had a lot on her plate. All right.
But they get in the bus, and I think Jackie was probably happy she wasn't there because Teresa is doubling down on these accusations. I think she says Evan is, what did she say, suave or something? She says
suave.
He's a suave guy. And they were like, Teresa, like, you have a crush on him, don't you? And she's like, well, he's my type, but I don't have a crush on him. I don't like him. Which I thought was like,
God,
whoa.
Cassidy.
Oh.
Something just jumped right into my brain.
You look like Raven Simone having
Sorry,
a vision.
I did see a vision, and it's happening to me. Teresa is a bodybuilder and loves the gym.
Oh my God, I did not even think of this. What if she's Evan's girlfriend at the gym?
I mean, he's suave, and it is her type.
Oh my God, did you just do something?
Raven Simone that bitch. I saw something.
My God. What if you
I don't know what to say anymore. My heart and my stomach, everything just twisted.
Detective, and he has not even had Taco Bell today.
No.
Detective Chase is on the case. Detective Chase is on the case. Well, there you go. That was pretty good.
That's our new segment.
I am actually shocked that we did not put two and two together.
I'm floored.
That is, what if that's what happened?
I would love that. It's not going to, but it's like, the connection is there.
My mind is blown right now.
Are we making things up? Yes. And I love it.
I mean, are we? Who knows?
We don't know yet.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned until we get hit with a cease and desist.
That's what Teresa would say.
What is it? Why
to cease and desist. Okay, Teresa.
I'm really good at this. My brain's still broken from your birthday, okay? Sorry. I'll let you take over then.
Okay, well,
Because my brain is
yes.
like, Teresa.
So they're in the van and they're all calling Teresa out. I will say, I was surprised how hard they were coming at her. Even
sure.
like Dolores, who I will always say, or I say that she does hold Teresa accountable a lot of times. So Dolores is even like, well, you shouldn't have even said anything at her husband's party. You were telling everyone. I'm pretty sure all of them kind of said the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
they all were like in agreement that Teresa was in the wrong. And Teresa is in agreement that she is not in the wrong.
And they all kind of were also saying they didn't like that Gia was brought up, but they were also telling Teresa she was using it as an analogy.
Yeah.
So calm down a little bit.
I know, but I still feel like even though it was an analogy, it just shouldn't have happened.
I mean, even Gia didn't care.
Yeah. Oh, and that was probably one of the best moments of the episode is whenever they get there and they get all settled in their rooms and everyone's all good. Teresa gets on the phone with Gia and is talking to her like, oh, they were saying it was just an analogy. And Gia said, look, Mom, like, what you did was wrong.
No.
Like, you were probably doing it out of spite, so you need to acknowledge that. And on the flip side, like, no, she shouldn't have brought me into it. And I was just like, Teresa is the child and Gia is the mother.
Yeah.
It's the only way to describe
so level-headed. Great
Gia
advice.
is. She's really, like, had to grow up so fast that she is, like, so level-headed. Always has good advice. Love Gia.
Yeah. So that was good, but they all get to the house. It's a cute little house on the lake. It looked really like the patio out looked really nice.
Stunning.
Like I love the woods. I like the lake. Like I like a camping ground, you know.
I mean, I've never seen you camp.
I haven't, as I'm in my Britney like pink T-shirt.
I love to camp. No, you love camp or you love to camp? Like what is happening here?
But I was actually really surprised that Jackie didn't care what room she got. Were you surprised by that?
Well, Jackie wasn't there, so I bet she did.
Oh, that's really awkward. Jennifer.
I know, right? Everyone was low maintenance except for Melissa. Melissa was like, I need the best room, which runs to it.
Not surprising.
No.
I think that she thinks that's like her brand now, so she has to like be the
diva?
wild girl.
Wild.
Oh, wild.
I was thinking like a diva.
Diva, yeah, I would say like diva. But Jennifer, she was like, I don't care what room, just give it to me.
I was very shocked by that.
I was shocked.
I was very surprised also by how much Lexi, Margaret's coworker, was involved in this episode. Like, she was just everywhere.
Stop trying to make Lexi happen. I can't even say it.
Happen.
I keep forgetting her name, so when I try to talk about her, I just can't.
Chase cannot remember her name to save his life. Like, every time I'm like, Lexi, he's like, who?
Yeah,
I'm the girl you were just talking about? But yeah, she had a lot to say. She's talked more probably than Jennifer, Melissa, and Margaret combined on this trip so far.
I agree. Every time someone says something, it's Lexi like giving her opinion. I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
Are you the new housewife? I'm confused.
Especially in the van headed to this dinner that they go to. And we find out that Joe Giudice is selling sex toys in Italy.
And Teresa approves.
No, yeah, she approves. And disclaimer, they are not of his dick. We have to very much point that out. Because I was at first like, oh my God, is he doing replicas? Who wants to buy that? And then I think he's just selling them in Italy.
I buy that.
Because what else would you do when you got deported to Italy? Sell sex toys.
I would buy that faster than I bought the Brooks Mark sweatsuit. That's for sure.
Oh, ma'am. I can't.
That's Housewives merch I will buy.
That is? Okay, well, I'm pissed that you didn't tell me that you wanted this. If only your birthday had been a week later, I could have gotten it for you for next week. So, there's always next year. But also, they bring up at this dinner, I think it's just kind of a lot of going around talking about the Jackie and Teresa stuff, but Jennifer actually has a moment where she apologizes to Melissa for how she's like treated her in the past and like the things she said about her at the reunion.
And it's hilarious because she actually apologizes for like saying she's like a diva or like over the top, as me and you were just saying. She is a diva. That's how she acts. That's what she wants to be. Right. I think.
And I think Melissa is going to give us a heck of a storyline for next week's episode.
Yeah, I think Cassidy even said, my favorite part of this episode was the preview for next episode.
Like, not that I love a cheating rumor or anything like that, but, like, it is wild. Next week, apparently, Melissa is texting the owner of the restaurant they went to that night, and Teresa has to be messy and call her brother and say Melissa's been texting this guy.
I did see someone tweet, and I want your thoughts on this.
Okay.
That do you think that they're just teasing it like this happened and it was just a joke, or do you think it actually happened?
I am going to be so pissed. You know, actually it might be a joke because Joe at one point, he's like sitting with the guys, I think, and he says like, oh, like I literally was like about to like freak out or like cry So,
I don't know. So I saw someone tweet that. I was like, that's really intuitive thinking.
That'll be annoying. I'll be super pissed if they do that.
Because, like, I don't mind a little tricky editing, but, like, when it's for the preview and that's what's holding me through the next week, and then we get there and it's like, oh, haha, 5-minute joke.
Through to next week. Like, they showed this on, like, the trailer, like, the big trailer when everything first came out.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because the whole thing, huge part. All of it is kind of like foreshadowing a cheating rumor, which you obviously find out is Jackie. But after the first episode, they do that again, acting like other people have cheating rumors. Right. So you're right. That would be really annoying.
Cannot fast forward to next Wednesday soon enough.
Cool. You're just going to forget the rest of my birthday week?
Just going to forget about the rest of his birthday week and Salt Lake City. Bye. Just kidding.
But yeah, that was Jersey. Do you want to move on to Salt Lake City? The final reunion.
I'm so sad that it's over. Like, the second it ended, because there was like a part in the commercials that said like season 2 coming soon. I was like, cool, bravo. Can we get the trailer for season 2 now?
Yeah, I'm like, if it's coming that soon, you should already have the trailer.
I know it just ended. Give us a trailer, like right now.
I will say, I think it was one of the strongest first seasons of Housewives ever.
Hands down.
Maybe not ever, but in a long time. From my recent memory, it's definitely the best.
I agree. I would say it's up there with New York's first season and Beverly Hills' first season.
It was good.
It is right there. Salt Lake is not far behind.
I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, so it was sad to see it as the last reunion.
We enjoyed starting our podcast with it. It's been a whole journey.
That's true. It's just full circle, as you're saying. So this is the last episode of the podcast. I'm just kidding.
All right, so it's good seeing you. We'll be back when Salt Lake's back. Just kidding. But we kicked this off with all the husbands joining. Some virtually, some in person. John Barlow's looking good.
Yeah, Seth's in Canton, and he's in his hoodie with a blazer on top. I'm like, dude, you're on a Zoom, but give us something.
Brooks by Brooks Marks, clearly styled.
I would have at least appreciated him in the Brooks Marks sweatsuit, to be honest. That would have gave us something.
Branding.
At least they were Take a book out. Take a book out of books.
Take a book out of Lisa Barlow's book. Absolutely. But Whitney also had a little revelation that her husband's actually an excellent pole dancer, better than her on the pole. Yes. He just can't do the acrobatics. Yeah. Which I was like, oh, can we see? I would like to see him on the pole.
Honestly, Andy did miss an opportunity right there to be like, oh, well, we have a pole.
Roll it out. Oh, Danielle stops just laying on it with her legs spread like that meme and just rolls out and he gets on. Oh, that could have been an iconic moment.
But we find out that Whitney's husband, what's his name again?
Whitney's
husband. Cool. Whitney's husband.
I was trying to think. I was like Whitney and
which he wasn't really on it that much, to be honest. Anyways, gets a letter from the Mormon Church saying he's no longer a Mormon.
Well, he got it 10 years ago, he said.
Yeah.
And Heather got really emotional and started crying. And Andy was like, what's wrong? She was like, I just know mine's coming. And I know that's not funny because it's awful and it's like very cult-like, but...
Like, who's it coming from?
Crazy. I was like, who is sending this letter? Is it God? Like, is it Jesus? Is it... Someone commented on our Instagram. Apparently it's like the head of the church something. I don't know. But crazy. That's a real thing.
I just don't get how you can be kicked out of something when it's your own personal belief and faith.
And like you're choosing to show up. It's not like you're like paying... Well, I guess you are kind of paying. But
I mean, Heather did say, can I get a refund?
Yes. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was like an interesting little thing. But again, I don't get why Lisa had to come at them and be like, that's not true. Her husband's been divorced. My parents are divorced. That's not true. And Whitney was like, okay, it may not be true in your case, but in my case, my
experience isn't real.
It did happen because we actually cheated on our spouses. Like, right. I don't know why Whitney even need to get into details. Lisa can just be like, oh, okay, fine.
Exactly.
I don't know why she needs to be like, that's not true.
Exactly. And she doesn't know she doesn't know what's going on with
like,
other people.
You're one Mormon out of like 4 on the stage. Like, I think other people's experience can be different.
Completely agree.
It's just weird. It's just Lisa, I get a little annoyed. I just think she sticks her head in places, which
could be said about Heather as well.
I was waiting for that. You're right.
Especially in this episode. But first we have to mention that Mary and Robert Sr. are like the 2 most insane people on the planet. They were like, I literally got whiplash watching them go back and forth. She was like, see, we were getting positive and now you're coming in negative. And it was a whole thing. And then it was like, all right, love you. I was like, what? Like, what just happened?
Ma'am, what?
I had no idea what just happened.
He's almost just as chaotic as Mary. And you understand a little bit. actually don't understand at all what goes on in that house. I take that right back. I have no idea what goes on in that house.
Yeah.
I like how you kind of said, like, oh, because there was a part where I think Andy asked Robert Sr., like, what did you think about Mary coming on the show? Like, were you okay with it? And Mary was like, answered for him and was like, yeah, he was fine. And he's like, no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
And she's like, you were fine. You were fine.
That
He's
was
like,
like
no,
the
I wasn't.
whiplash.
And Cassie was like, she probably didn't, or he probably didn't even know she was filming. She was just in the closet the whole time.
I did say that. It's like, she never left the closet, so he didn't even know that camera crews were there. Like, she literally sat there and changed outfits 1,000 times and just filmed all of her scenes consecutively.
That just made me laugh so hard. Like, Robert Senior's just like in another wing of the house and she's just like filming in her closet.
I 100% could see that actually happening.
I agree.
She also got really emotional whenever Robert made a comment like, you know, she's my equal, like, she's my best friend, she's like my co-pastor at the church. And then Mary just starts like crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's happening? And she's like, I'm just so emotional to hear him call me my equal. I was like, can we move on from this? This is so chaotic. And he made the comment like, I don't appreciate being called a grandpa effer. She's getting called a grandpa effer because of me whenever I was married at 22 to her grandma and never had a child before. Like, the whole thing was just chaos.
I mean, as they say, those who con together stay together.
Ooh,
did they Dorit and PK.
I was about to say, didn't work for Teresa and Joe, but works for a few of them. We also found out that Whitney and Daddy Steve are no longer speaking.
That actually made me really sad.
Very sad that he, you know, is ignoring her calls. And, like, it's kind of...
And she said she reaches out, like, every other day, like something like that. But we did find out that is his real hair.
Shock of the century. That's really all they ever needed to address on the show. Like, we don't even need to hear about the grandpa effort. We don't need to hear about any of that. We just need to know if Daddy Steve hair was real, and we found out that it was.
Daddy Steve hair care.
And now even more than ever.
I know, right?
Ever I need to invest in this.
But she also said that he cuts her hair.
That is...
It explains those wild bangs there for a second.
I mean, but her hair still looks good, though. I was like, but is he... I mean, he's not cutting it right now, I guess. But, like, she always had good hair.
He just said it looked good on the reunion, and they haven't been talking.
Oh, God. Sorry, Daddy Steve. Although
we love you. We support you.
We love you, Steve.
We love you, Steve. You get, like, really professional. We love you, Steve.
We also... this is what we were just talking about a little bit. But Heather is getting very involved in things that don't necessarily involve her.
Yeah.
On this reunion. And we went from being like the biggest Heather stans, and I'm not saying I don't like her anymore, to being a little bit like, cool your jets, Heather.
She had a little mean girl traits in her, I would say.
Right.
Throughout this, because there was a part that stood out to me when Meredith and Lisa were talking about Seth and Meredith's marriage.
Right.
And Lisa was just being a sweet friend, kind of getting emotional.
Yeah.
And Heather started, like, saying stuff to her and saying stuff to Meredith. And I was like, why? This is it.
Do you think it's, like,
this isn't your place.
Jealousy thing? Like, that Lisa and Meredith, like, are so close and have been for so long? You think Heather's just, like, jealous of it?
1,000%. I think a lot... like, this is just me guessing.
Right.
Heather acts out of jealousy and insecurity a lot because she's always felt like the outsider.
Right.
So whenever she became friends with Jen and then became friends with Meredith, she thinks that Lisa's trying to get her out of those friendships.
Right.
So she holds on to them very dearly. But the thing is, people can have multiple friends.
That's the problem.
And Heather doesn't see that in the same way that I think if you're not coming out of jealousy, you don't see it like that. But Heather's coming from jealousy and coming from insecurity. And that's overshadowing her thought process.
No, I completely agree. And I don't know if it's something like because of how she felt in her marriage. And I think she's like, Heather's really open about her feelings. And I do feel like she's kind of said that before. But you're putting it on the wrong people. Like, you shouldn't put it on your friends.
I feel like Heather has always been a people pleaser.
Yes.
She's always done the Mormon way.
Like
the
yes,
good girl.
ma'am.
She got married young to the right man, as she said, blah, blah, blah. She's done everything right. So she's always wanted to fit in, and she thought by doing it right, she would.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying she doesn't fit in and doesn't have friends, but I still think that lives inside her, that she's just wants to be the cool girl. And I think this show has given her that a little bit, and I think that's why maybe she was voicing things a little too much this, like, reunion.
Well, she's like, people like that I'm, like, honest and real, so I'm really gonna roll with that. Like, it's kind of, you know, like, she was like, I'm gonna, like, get involved in things, I'm gonna give my opinion, and, like, go from there.
And that's true, and I do think standing up and voicing your thoughts
is
but
not when it's not, like involving you in any way.
Exactly.
At
And I
that
think
point,
that's
you're
what
just
Lisa
like,
does a lot. So she's just turning into the person that she's like
right,
annoyed at.
right, yeah.
It was weird. It
I
was
think that's
a little frustrating, I would say, just to see our girl, our love, our favorite housewife of Salt Lake, or at least mine,
yeah.
kind of teeter a little bit, I would say.
I would agree with that completely. And we also found out that Jen had made some comments about Heather, saying that she could have like played Shrek, or she like dresses at the dress barn, and she like all these like really nasty
It was very
comments.
random.
And it makes sense why Heather, because I kept being like, her and Jen like are friends. Obviously they've gone through stuff this season, but like it felt like she was angrier at Jen.
Yes.
And whenever those comments were said, like you understand, because those are like some pretty nasty things to say.
Yeah, like, can you imagine logging on to Instagram and like your supposed best friend
It's like calling
is
you Shrek.
calling you Shrek and a manatee,
Yeah.
and stuff like that? And I was like, whoa, like no wonder it's been so hostile, like you said. Like
Right.
it makes sense now, because like of course we see some of the Instagram banter, but there's so much that I feel like some things fall through the cracks,
Like,
and I didn't
especially
see that.
Jen. Like Jen
I didn't
is
see
like
that.
on it a lot.
Yeah,
so.
she's like that girl that has like the tiny little dots on her stories because it's like she has so many at one time.
I'm like, oops, the reality right now has probably done that a few times, but it's just such good content, okay?
It's okay if you do it, just not Jen.
Just not Jen, okay? But Jen, you know, they are having this talk with her, like, you know, why are you so vicious and why are you so nasty and why are you so aggressive is the word used. And that word is clearly a big trigger for Jen and other people who have dealt with like colorism issues and being called aggressive, because it is a big word. Like I was like, if that is the word that is so triggering to her, and it makes sense, like I just think maybe there should have been like, you got a little too like worked up and you like really come in hot sometimes.
There's ways to get your message out
Without
of like how
having to
you
use
were
that
feeling
word.
about someone without using their trigger word. Because like she kept saying like, oh,
Right.
like this is something that I've heard, I've dealt with, I've gone through.
Right.
So just don't say it.
Right.
So I
But
think
then
you
they
should
were
just
like, but
respect
you were
it.
aggressive is what they kept
Yeah,
saying.
and
It's like,
the
well,
thing is, they have thoughts of what Jen's done throughout the season, and she's been angry and she's done wild things. But as you said, just listen to her say that I don't like that word,
Yes.
and then get your point across
and
another
listen
way.
to the reasons why and go from there. But Jen, I felt like had done really well all reunion. Like, you know, like she worked really hard to keep her cool together because we know that she can like pop off.
Yeah.
Like I can be guilty of that. I think we can all be guilty
Yeah, we
of
can,
that. But she gets up and she walks off and talks to Coach Shaw. And, you know, he kind of gives her the advice, like, people aren't going to understand what you've gone through. You can only do your best to, like, tell them and explain to them. But either they're going to get it or they're not going to not. And she came back, I think, kind of with the mindset of, like, all right, I'm going to, like, chill out. Like, you guys just aren't going to get it. Like, I'm not saying that you guys are racist by any means, but I'm just saying, like, you guys don't get it and why it's such a trigger, and you probably never will.
Yeah, and I don't think they will. So that's why it's, like, I think it's one of those things where it's, like, you just... The other girls just be like, okay, I respect it.
Right.
I will hopefully one day be able to listen more of, like, why this is something
I think
that
once Heather gets out
with.
of the hurt with it, like, then maybe she'll
I agree.
be more understanding, because she's the type of person that I think listens and is open to
I agree.
hearing. So that could be something in the future that might be seen next season. But the only other thing was Meredith, whenever she finally decided to speak, she said, like, I felt like I was nice to everyone. Like, I didn't deserve the way that I was spoken about and treated. Like, I feel like I'm really kind to everyone. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, she gives me such go girl, give us nothing energy all the time.
And it may have been fun and funny and, like,
first.
quirky at first, but I'm bored with it.
It's like Erica Jane gives us that, like, on her third... I don't know, she's kind of always given it to us, but she's given it even more now. And Meredith is coming with that energy. Like, you don't even get to know her, really. She literally says at one point, like, I just don't like when my family is talked about or my marriage is talked about. It's like, you're on a reality show.
And her whole storyline was her marriage.
Exactly. So what storyline was she... Did she just want to come on and promote Brooks Marks and her jewelry?
I honestly think so.
Like, that for me, like, if that's all she wants to bring, like, we don't necessarily need that next season.
No, and I think, as you just said it, I think both of us agree that if Meredith didn't come back at her current attitude,
right,
I'd be fine with it.
I agree. Like, everyone else I'd like to see back, but Meredith, I'm not saying I don't want her back, but if she's going to come back like she is,
exactly, that's what I mean, because we've said it before. I was like, oh, I actually think the whole cast should come back. But I think
Right.
that was kind of like midway through the season.
Right.
And like you said, she continued to be Go Girl, Give Us Nothing.
Right.
And that can only last so long until we're bored. And I'm bored.
Yeah, I'm definitely bored. Like, I think she said 10 words the whole reunion.
Yeah, she really did.
That was it.
And I couldn't believe that Mary had more to talk about than Meredith.
Oh, Mary surprisingly was the voice of reason a couple times,
Yeah.
which I never thought I would say.
Yeah. What?
But yeah, that was Salt Lake. They had their little wrap-up statements,
Yeah.
and they got a meatball.
I was about to say they ate a meatball.
I feel like we should have a meatball here to be like, yes, same. But
I do love a meatball, I will say.
I know. But yeah, that was Salt Lake, and I am bummed it's over, but I'm glad that Jersey's back.
Me too. I think Jersey is going to have an action-packed season.
Yes.
And I think that's the perfect one to come after Salt Lake, which was so good as well. So we need something to follow it up that's good.
So true.
So I'm excited for it.
Well, that was this week's shows.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up Chase's birthday week
Woo,
and
woo,
celebrations. And I think they gave us some good shows for your birthday week. So we are blessed. I'm going to try not to knock down anything in the house or break anything.
I was going to say you can leave and you can take your very own panty with you.
I'm going to take my beautiful artistic underwear that I made and worked so hard for you. So let's throw a balloon and
Woo! Cheers to this week's episode.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.